Today you're going to learn how to make this delicious and easy chocolate cake. You want to preheat your oven to 350 or 180 degrees Celsius, and you're going to need a whisk and a sifter. In a large bowl, we're going to add 1/2 cup of cocoa powder or 40 grams. You can use any type of cocoa powder you like. As you can see, cocoa powder is quite lumpy, and that's why you want a sifter. To that, you're going to add 2 cups of flour gradually, that's 300 grams. You're also going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 6 grams, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2.5 grams. You can use baking soda in this recipe because of the acid in the cocoa powder and the buttermilk. Next, we're going to add in some sugar. We're going to use 2 cups of sugar or 400 grams. Yes, it's a lot of sugar, but this is a chocolate cake, and with that cocoa powder, it can be quite bitter if you don't use a lot of sugar. Now, I have cut this down to about 1.5 cups, and it has been okay. And that's about 300 grams. If there's any extra lumps at the end, go ahead and use your fingers and try to push through them. And if some of it still doesn't come through, just discard that bit. Use a whisk and whisk it all together so it's all nice and even. Set that aside, and in another bowl, we're going to mix 2 eggs, which is 100 grams. You want 2 large eggs. Scramble them, and then you're going to add in some vanilla, 1 teaspoon of vanilla or 5 milliliters. Now, if you don't have vanilla, you can skip it. It just gives a nice hint of flavor. It's not absolutely necessary in this recipe. Then we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of oil or 180 milliliters. You can use any kind of oil you like, canola, vegetable. To that, we're going to add in some buttermilk. We're going to use 1.5 cups of buttermilk, that's 360 milliliters. If you don't have buttermilk, I will show you how to make a substitute in a link below. Mix this until it's well combined, and then set that aside, and we're going to add our wet ingredients to our dry ingredients. And you just want to whisk it until there are no more lumps. It will only take about 30 seconds to a minute, and it should look like this. It's a nice thin batter. You want to pour this into a 9 by 13 or 23 by 33 centimeter pan. You want to bake this for 30 to 40 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the middle comes out clean. The center should read between 190 degrees Fahrenheit to 200 degrees or 88 degrees Celsius to 99 degrees Celsius. When it comes to chocolate cake, you want to be careful not to overbake it. If you overbake it, it can tend to be dry. Just watch it carefully. You may have to check it 1 or 2 times. You want to cool the cake in the pan on a wire rack before you ice it. In a small bowl, you want to mix 1.5 cups or 187.5 grams of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons or 10 grams of cocoa powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt or 1.25 grams, and 3 tablespoons of milk, that's 45 milliliters. And then you're going to add your milk 1 teaspoon at a time and stir until you get the desired consistency. You want it to ribbon off your spoon like this. And then you are just going to pour it on top of your cake and spread it out evenly until you get a nice layer that looks really nice and shiny. As it dries, it will turn into a matte color. Let's cut into this cake and let you see what it looks like. And as you can see, I'm manhandling the very first piece, and I typically do that. So let's look at the second piece. This is a really delicious cake. It's nice and soft and moist. It lasts for days. You can freeze it if you like. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Here are your ingredients if you want to follow along. Thank you for visiting us at jacksonsjob.com, and as always, happy baking.